Chicos, chicas, ¿cómo están? ¿Qué os cuenta la vida? Aquí Vampire con un nuevo video para el canal. Esta vez estamos en otro episodio más de Genshin Impact. Y bueno, si recuerdas el episodio anterior, hemos hecho un par de misiones. Bueno, episodios anteriores y series anteriores, porque una la grabé antes y otra la grabé después. Ya pues, ya hemos pasado por Aitomanía y ya hemos pasado por Ayacamenia. Así que lo que toca ahora es justamente disfrutar de la nueva actualización que se nos va a presentar ahora. Porque esto no lo estoy grabando en la 4.3, ya claro que no. Esto lo estoy grabando en la 4.4. Lo que quiere decir de que si le doy al botón M, porque yo juego con teclado, notarán de que hay algo un poquito raro en lo que es el mapa de Teyvat. Hay un pequeño modificación por lo que parece. Hay un fucking dito marcado de color rojo acá. Lo que quiere decir de que estamos en la actualización donde se presenta la expansión de Luigi. Ahora puede haber una conexión entre Fontaine y Luigi a través de esta zona de acá, que es el Alto Valle Chenyun, y el Valle Chenyun, o Bajo Valle Chenyun, como quieras decirle. Porque sí, eso es lo que trae justamente esta actualización, pero no solo eso, sino también trae un evento nuevo, el típico ritual de linternas, que cuando voy acá, como ustedes podrán ver, me dice que ya está disponible cuando estoy grabando esto. Pero me dice el destino recomendado, se doy acá, que tengo que completar la misión legendaria de Grusena Acto 1, que corresponde al debut de Cloud Retainer. Que tengo cosas que decir acerca de ella, pero tampoco es que tenga mucho que decir sobre ella. O sea, lo que sé es que es muy mommy coded. Sé también de que es la maestra de Ganyu y de Shenhe, pero todavía no estoy tan formalizado en mi opinión sobre el personaje. Aparte también está disponible su banner, pero todavía no pienso en hacer mi tradicional, que es lo que pienso de X personaje hasta que me complete su misión legendaria. Y lo mismo aplica para el otro personaje que está disponible una vez de que ya esté bien avanzado en lo que es el ritual linterna. Así que sí, voy a comenzar a hacer esta misión legendaria que veo muchos compañeros míos la han hecho y tienen muchas cosas que decir al respecto. Así que le voy a dar a desbloquear. Vamos a aceptar la misión. Y me pide que está ocupada por otra misión. Vaya por Dios. Vale, parece que tengo las dos misiones bloqueadas. Ok, esto es histórico. Tengo tanto la misión legendaria como la misión del evento bloqueadas por eventos que no me he hecho porque estas huevadas no me dan protogemas. Esto es legendario, weón. Esto es recontra legendario. Lo bueno es que no se cruzan entre sí, así que puedo hacer esta la ofrenda de Alertus de una vez. Luego de una misión secundaria totalmente molesta y necesaria de hacer, ahora sí, en teoría tendríamos que hacer la misión legendaria correspondiente. Ahora sí está desbloqueada, me pide ir a la montaña Osang. Ya estoy en la montaña Osang. ¿Quién lo diría? Así que vayamos primero a donde está la mesita, que si mal no me equivoco es allí donde ella se reunía junto con Quizong y Songli y la Maran Ping, creo que se llamaba la otra.
Remember the first time we came here? We even brought offerings and everything.
Sí, eso fue cuando recién estaba empezando a jugar este juego. Que recuerdo, sí, también qué traumas por la misión anterior de la secundaria esta. Que tengo todavía traumas, esa vez en la que tuve que hacer ese puzzle con Xiangli.
And when we told her that Rex Lapis had been assassinated, she immediately threatened to squash Liyue Harbor. Paimon thought she'd be impossible to get along with. But now that we've spent some more time together, she's really not like that at all.
Y lo peor es que Guba no colaboraba. ¿Qué es lo peor?
We probably don't need to bring any offerings now that we've gotten to know her pretty well, right? Still, Paimon's got some snacks around here somewhere, so if she really wants something, we can just use that. Huh? Traveler, did something catch your eye?
¿Qué sucede, Aider?
Whoa, what a pretty lady. Is she also here to visit Cloud Retainer?
Tienes pinta de ser una Adeptus cuanto menos interesante. ¿Qué te hace pensar que es una Adeptus? Tranquilamente puede ser un usuario de stand.
Yeah, you're right. All it takes is one look and you can tell she's someone special. As expected of that bird lady, really. She must have a whole bunch of Adepti friends from all over the country. Okay, but if we're both friends of Cloud Retainer, then we're basically friends by association, right? Want to go up to her and say hello?
Excelente, entonces tú te encargas de la presentación.
Helping you make more connections is a part of Paimon's job as your reliable guide. Paimon's got
Te
this.
recomiendo usar Canvas. ¿Qué PowerPoint? Nah.
Hello.
Hello.
Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
Y yo soy Vampire.
Paimon doesn't think we've met, but we're also friends of Cloud Retainer. May we have the pleasure of learning your name, Madam Adeptus?
You two... What is this tomfoolery? Has the shift in form so clouded your eyes that you no longer recognize one anymore?
No tengo ni la más remota idea de lo que está hablando, señora.
Wait, you're...
Aguanta, ¿esa era su voz? Que hace tiempo que no juego en Luigi, que ya ni me acuerdo bien cómo se... o sea, cómo habla. La preservadora de nubes.
Huh? You're the illuminated bird?
Illuminated Bird.
Human!
Oh, donning human form is scarcely any test of one's abilities. As for your confusion, one merely had no reason to indulge such inclinations before.
Sí, se nota que un poco no le gusta adoptar la forma humana porque su voz suena un poquito menos divina, entre comillas. No sé si me dejo entender.
So, you're indulging now because?
Well, one has made plans to pay a visit to some disciples at Liyue Harbor. Taking on a human form for such a trip is simply a way to make matters less conspicuous.
Cloud Retainer tiene suerte de que todavía no ha llegado una colaboración Inazuma-Luigi, porque en todo caso todo Luigi sabría de Bayonetta y ahí sí estarías acaparando las miradas de toda la gente. Si es que no lo estás acaparando ya. Y ya saben a qué me estoy refiriendo con eso.
You? Worrying about keeping a low profile? You're the one who likes to pop up out of nowhere all over the place. In fact,
Siento que tiene otros motivos por los que ha cambiado su aspecto, pero supongo que no quiere compartirlos. Ah, por cierto, Paimon te ha traído un regalo.
hey, didn't we agree not to bring that up unless she asked?
Oh? So you have taken care to follow the proper rules of etiquette after all. Most commendable.
Profesor Nubes finge indiferencia mientras Paimon saca unos aperitivos.
Well, this is all Paimon's got. You don't mind, right?
One has never found oneself lacking in basic comforts. On the contrary, it is the gesture that one values above all else. So long as you've shown proper respect and consideration, the quantity or quality of the gift is but a trivial matter.
That kinda makes Paimon feel a little guilty for trying to keep them for herself. Anyway, where were we before you reminded Paimon about the gifts?
Cloud Retainer estaba diciendo de que iría a visitar a sus discípulas.
Ah, right. So by disciples, you must mean Ganyu and Shenhe. It's also been a while since we last saw them. Maybe we can come too.
One planned to extend the invitation even if you had not raised the matter yourself. Shenhe and Ganyu should be quite pleased to see you again.
Shenhe lo duró bastante, Ganyu definitivamente no.
However, one would first inquire as to the reason behind your visit here. You have cause to seek one's company?
Sí, si no me hago esta misión no podré hacerme la misión del rito de la linterna o disfrutarla al 100%.
Yeah, we just found ourselves missing you and wanted to see how you were doing. We were hoping you'd tell us one of your stories. Who knew we'd run into your human form while we were at it?
O sea, podría esquipear tu misión legendaria sí porque sí, pero yo soy un poquito más hardcore y además necesito saber un poquito más de ti antes de poder tirar en tu barne porque ahorita todavía estoy un poco conflictivo respecto a tu existencia.
Is that so?
Ajá.
If there are no urgent matters at hand, then let us make haste for Liyue Harbor. Ganyu is likely still working at Yuehai Pavilion, so that shall be our first stop.
Sounds great! Then let's all go to Liyue Harbor!
Ya estamos en Luigi Harbor. Bueno, de hecho estamos en el continente de Luigi. Bueno, país, nación de Luigi. 1000 millas iluminadas por la luna. Cruz Serena, acto 1. Vayamos donde está
Ganyu has been
Ganyu.
quite busy with work as of late.
Sí.
One can count on one talon the number of times she returns to Mount Outsong each year.
Ah, pensé que ibas a continuar hablando.
Shenhe has also secured employment recently. In her correspondence with me, she wrote that she shall have no need to return for the foreseeable future.
Sigue trabajando, qué bueno.
Did they think one was so easily mollified? One shall investigate everything with one's own eyes and decide for oneself if their living conditions are satisfactory.
Shout out a mi madre que por lo menos me está dejando vivir mi vida. Anyway, vayamos al pabellón que era justamente donde Lily Harbor, que como siempre yo lo tengo recontramarcado porque ahí es donde inicia la misión legendaria de Ganyu. Por supuesto que tengo que marcar esas cosas importantes en la vida. Vayamos a visitar a Ganyu en todo caso, aunque tenemos a Ganyu acá, pero tenemos que seguir un guión al parecer. De hecho quiero ver si es que todavía se me completa el tema de los encargos. Un poquito se ha completado por lo que parece. Interesante cómo ves que funciona esta mecánica. Huepa, siguiente cinemática de seguro se completa. De milagro no me he muerto.
We're almost at Weihai Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu will be shocked to see Cloud Retainer like this?
De seguro le da un paro cardíaco, pero no hay problema, supongo.
Guess we have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go?
Y no, ahí está, supongo.
Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Quietly now. One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
Ok.
But why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit. One fears that would only result in her staying up all night to make up for lost time.
Exactamente por eso es que pedí un escritorio nuevo. Bueno, un lugar de grabación nuevo más bien.
One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being. Again, do not mention one's presence here.
Descuida, no vamos a decirle que estamos acompañándote, Cloud Retainer.
Fair enough, makes sense. Alright then, we'll just pass on your regards and...
Cloud Retainer?
Oh, busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Ms. Ganyu?
Desgraciadamente sí.
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full.
No, Ganyu.
Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
No en la noche.
Oh, not to worry, Ms. Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements right away.
Thank you, Huixin.
It's been a while, Ganyu.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of whom you speak. One is simply a mere mortal passerby.
La próxima vez deberías llevar un bigote.
Huh?
Seems she's not buying it.
Lo raro sería que no lo hubiera reconocido.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
La cara de Ganyu es un poema, es como si estuviera preguntando, ¿cómo no te iba a reconocer? Cualquiera podría reconocer a alguien que solía ver todos los días.
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
Traficando rimas.
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Wait, Paimon wasn't aware of any important... Cloud Retainer's right! We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation should suffice for today. A more involved reunion should wait until you find yourself less occupied.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, Excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body.
Que tengas vida eterna no quiere decir que no sufras lo mismo dolor que sufren los humanos de verdad.
It
Es que eso
still
ha
makes
tenido
one
algo de sentido.
nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to
Ay,
cuddle
no.
you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
No, 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 no.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
Te cuentan a Ganyu sus experiencias más recientes.
Wow, you've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke.
Ujú.
If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Yue High Pavilion.
No hay problema, Ganyu. Igual tú también has formado parte en cierta medida de todos los lugares donde hemos ido en el pasado.
Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer, but if you plan to continue appearing in this form, don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
A human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
A ver, o sea que has tenido una forma humana por mucho tiempo, pero nunca te has puesto a pensar en un nombre para tu forma humana. O sea, what the hell?
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but that famous?
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public occasions, be sure to refer to one as Xianyun.
Xianyun, puta madre, otro personaje cuyo nombre empieza con X y que yo no podré obtener.
Xianyun?
Ah, I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion.
What?
An adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered. The writer referenced Master's name to describe her carefree and spontaneous nature.
Ah, ya entendí.
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Tengo entendido que la caligrafía china es similar un poco a la japonesa, así que debe ser algún significado adherido a un kanji y sea un nombre inventado para justificar un poco la personalidad de Xianyun, ¿no?
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
And what of it? Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than average size?
No voy a mentir. De verdad pensaba que iba a ser una simple ave más grande de lo normal.
Not exactly.
Esta descripción ha dado en el clavo. Y sí que ha dado en el clavo. Sobre todo en términos gameplay. Y hablaré de eso cuando me toque hablar de eso.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no choice, many people left their homes, while others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had this to say about what happened. Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together, and abundant rain burst forth from the heavens. Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Cloud Retainer, Xianyun, ¿podrías por favor hacer lo mismo, pero también para mi país y de paso también para Chile, Argentina, esos lugares que ahorita se están quemando literalmente?
Wow. That's incredible!
En serio, lo necesitamos y tal parece que Newbie no quiere colaborar con nosotros.
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely what one ought. And even if one had not interceded, the other adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
Ya, si no puedes interferir, ¿podrías decirle a otro Adeptus que pueda, no sé, hacer algo como apagar el maldito sol?
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said? Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you. So it was Paimon's bad for calling you Illuminated Bird before. You're not too mad, are you?
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the world. Why would one be offended by such a trivial matter?
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray tell, of her monthly remuneration? Moreover, does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
That is a lot of questions.
Yeah.
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally.
Nepotismo.
Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Xiangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced Shenhe to staff the restaurant.
Se hizo canon la colaboración, parece.
I see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Xiangling is kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult. Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin Restaurant in person and see how Shenhe is doing.
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Sí, Ganyu, ese es el asunto de importancia que tenemos que resolver.
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine together in the future. One is certain the opportunity shall present itself most readily.
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please take care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you some other time.
See you later.
See you around, Ganyu! Whew. Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there, don't you think? As soon as you mentioned important business to attend to, Paimon realized that you were just looking to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No, in fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
The moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in time.
She really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story about her powers?
Está presumiendo su lore. Eso se lo respeto un poco. Yo haría lo mismo si es que estuviera en su lugar. ¡Hey, Shenhe!
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady, eh?
Average Shenhe simp behavior.
Oh, I'm far more interested in getting her details than ordering any dishes. Hey, how about you ask her?
You do it.
No. I think you should. Wait, she's coming.
What can I get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be...
What would you like to order?
2 servings of mora meat to go. Good chat. Bye.
Y se marcharon. Y su barco se llamó Libertad. ¡A los siglos!
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
¿Cuánto tiempo ha pasado, Shenhe? ¿Cuánto tiempo que llevo esquipeando tus banners? Bueno, ni tanto, simplemente estoy esperando a que aparezca un doble banner que me interese contigo en presencia y ahí sí pienso romper toda la maldita cuenta bancaria que tenga.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is?
This is Miss Xianyun.
Master?
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter what form you take.
Oh.
You...
Is something the matter, Master?
Hardly. Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter and came to check on your well-being.
And check out the great food, too!
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My apologies. I'm still on the clock and can't talk for very long.
Well, if it isn't the traveler in Paimon, are you here for Shenhe?
Y también para comer.
The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So I've got things covered for now. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
Thank you, Chef Mao.
Ahora sí, como un rato con Shenhe, que tengo que decir algo importante. Y es que desde que empecé a jugar Pro Sekai, como que he empezado un poquito más a valorar a Shenhe. Porque Shenhe antes como que me era un poco igual su personalidad. Pero en cierta medida es un poquito similar a Mafuyu. En el hecho de que a Mafuyu también le cuesta un poco expresar emociones genuinas. Con la diferencia obvia de que Shenhe no está traumada con su madre, a diferencia de Mafuyu. Como sea, conversemos con Shenhe y sí, me he subido al maldito puesto para poder ir a la zona de acá. Eso también hago en la universidad.
It is just as one expected. The owner of Wanmin Restaurant is indeed a most reasonable and accommodating human. Still, the work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
Acaba de espansar a un par de sims. Que eso responde a tu pregunta.
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people, but I have figured out a way to deal with them.
Espantarlos y darles claro que no es no.
Seems like you've been making progress. So by dealing with them, you mean...
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence. At this point, they usually decide they are in favor of a civil conversation.
Oh, how should Paimon put this?
Es una solución razonable y creo que la solución que un montón de chicas tienen que tomar cuando trata con esa clase de personas.
Oh, a sensible plan. One is gladdened to see you integrate so well into human society.
And you, Master? How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own company to be lacking.
Como tiene que ser, todos merecemos ser felices a nuestra manera.
I see. Just as expected of Master.
En realidad su maestra las extraña mucho, a ti y a Ganyu.
I have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately, I've already had a conversation with Chef Mao about taking some time off soon to visit Master.
Oh, you did? Do make note of such matters in your letters in the future. There's hardly a need to keep one in suspense.
Whoa, her mood shot up just like that.
By the way, Master, since you are in Liyue Harbor, have you had the chance to visit Ganyu?
Fue lo primero que hicimos.
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work. There was time only to exchange a few simple pleasantries.
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name. It was amazing. We never knew how powerful she was before.
I see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's past.
Por fin.
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good topic of conversation.
Sí, ¿por qué no querrías que tu alumna Shenhe fuera a contar una historia tuya, señora Xianyun?
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that Master's ability to fly gave her a natural edge in such a contest. In response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race. Mooncarver accepted, only to find Master with a brand new device on the day of the contest.
Un fucking jetpack.
Huh. What kind of device was it?
Un fucking jetpack.
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again? Oh, an electro-powered bicycle?
Le diré jetpack.
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical Thunder Flashmobile.
What?
One spent 49 days conceptualizing and crafting it. It need only be infused with adeptal energy, and it can cover thousands of miles in one day.
Pucha, imagínense si es que Xianyun se encuentra con Farusan. Las dos estarían hablando de mecanismos, por lo menos 8 horas continuas harían su wea de conferencia allí en la universidad, en la fucking academia, y encima se van al lugar de investigación que tienen allá en Fontaine.
Oh, it boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he could barely keep up. Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most unfortunate turn of events. Anyway,
Master, that was the end of that story.
is that so? With you gone, one has seldom felt the desire to call upon those old fossils for another contest. What is a race without spectators, after all?
Por fin, alguien que lo entiende.
Have you been lonely, Master?
Lonely? Huh. At one's age, entire human generations come and go in the blink of an eye. Even one's own self-directed musings can span several days and nights.
Me sorprende que no tengas algún tipo de demencia o situación en la que tú quieras conquistar todo el mundo solamente porque estás aburrida. Porque mucha gente con la edad que tú tienes de seguro ya hubiera hecho eso.
'Tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason for that look upon your face?
A mí no me mires, mira a Eder y mira a Paimon.
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again. I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two is the real Cloud Retainer?
¿Qué es Cloud Retainer?
To me, they are both, Master. One is the Master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the Master that I respect and adore.
One finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You chose to exalt one with your words, yet you refuse to grace Mount Outsong with your presence for any extended period of time.
¿Por qué tendría que
One would
hacerlo?
almost question the sincerity of your estimations.
Pero ¿por qué tendría que quedarse en la montaña Osang por un tiempo?
This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by a single ideal. Eschew all action and abide by no rule. One does as one pleases and speaks as one pleases. Others may critique or praise as they see fit.
100%,
Yet one places little weight in such judgments.
100% a favor de lo que tú dices, Xianyun, pero eso también tiene que aplicar al Shenhei. Tienes que dejar que ella también haga con su vida lo que se dé la gana. Si ella no quiere estar en el montaña Osang por un tiempo, ya pues deja que ella también esté libre de justamente esas obligaciones de estar en esa montaña. Porque ella tiene una vida que hacer, al fin y al cabo.
She got like, what, 2 sentences of flattery from her disciple? And it's as if her ego is about to burst.
Es un adepto, ¿qué esperabas?
Do you have any empty tables?
Hey there, could we get another fish stew?
Hay mucha gente que está por acá, por lo que parece.
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
Sí.
Alright, good luck with the lunchtime rush, Shenhe.
Mm-hmm. I'll try my best.
Más y más clientes acuden al restaurante Wami, mientras Paimon aprovecha para proveer montones de platos deliciosos.
So much yummy food! Paimon's gonna feast!
¿Te gustan estos platos, Xianyun?
One is fond of all kinds of delicacies and delights in a multitude of flavors.
Lo digo porque acabo de pedir pollo a la brasa.
The dishes here demonstrate no shortage of culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied. In fact, one has been struck by quite the fit of inspiration. One has already begun to conceptualize the next generation of supreme cuisine machines.
Bien, cómo me encantó ese minijuego.
Everything's so tasty! A bit too hot at times, but still super tasty.
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables are full.
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny? But it smells so delightful. Can we really not eat here? My poor legs can't go on for much longer.
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests and see if anyone's happy to share a table.
Okay, I'll ask around. Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty tables left, so...
Dios, cómo me incomoda cuando eso sucede y por eso es que evito meterme en mesas ajenas cuando estoy comiendo en la universidad.
Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys?
Prefiero 1000 veces comer en el pasto, pero supongo que esto es parte del guión, así que... como sea, me parece bien.
Great! Thanks so much. My name is Xianyun, and this is my granny, Yuendai.
Gusto conocerlas, I guess.
Granny?
Yep. Is there something wrong with that?
No, Paimon's just a bit surprised. She looks so young.
Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks, but she's actually much older than she appears.
Igual que mis abuelos. Sus señores estaban en los 80s, pero parecían que tuvieran 60 años. ¿Qué sucede?
Granny, why don't you take a seat? Come on, it's not polite to stare.
Huh. Have we met before?
No.
'Tis a fated meeting, then. Please, take a seat.
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
I want braised earthworms. They always pop up out of the ground after a rainstorm.
No, not this again. Granny, there's no braised earthworms on the menu.
Estamos en Luigi, no en Tarapoto.
Braised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird. Do people actually eat that?
Sí, en la selva. Preguntamos a ver si lo tienen.
Right, that's what Paimon was thinking too. Need any help?
Help? Oh, do you mean with Granny? Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time. She's always saying things that sound kinda confusing.
Alzheimer.
Actually, her memory's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I am every morning.
¿Y tus padres?
They died young. It's just me and Granny now.
Oh,
Mi más sentido pésame.
But it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and I love her a lot too.
Wow. You're really tough for your age, kid.
You're too kind.
And me? Oh, what about me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus, you're really gentle, and you're always there for me.
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. Wait, what was that really important thing again?
Al menos mis abuelos tenían mejor memoria que esta señora.
Ah, I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where everything was dark. Someone was standing in front of me. She told me to come and find her, and that once I'd found her, I would be free.
Huh? That sounds super important. But how come you've never told me about it before?
It was just a dream, so I forgot about it. But I'm in a good mood now, and somehow I remembered it again. You know, I believe I've had this dream a great many times.
but just how many times have I had it? Now that I do not remember.
No es tan común que se repitan los sueños, al fin y al cabo.
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Does that mean you're possessed?
Ta madre, Paimon.
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear and her breathing remains calm and level. One sees no signs of possession.
Are you sure?
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
Casi revela su identidad.
You're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert. In that case, do you still remember what the person in your dreams looked like, Granny?
Procede a describir a Xianyun a pie y cabeza, ¿no?
Not anymore. Although, I have a sense that she looked rather like me. But not as I am now. My younger self.
A younger version of Granny? This is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
As one said, fate must have brought us together. You may leave the situation to me.
Are you sure? So, what are your names? Paimon's Paimon.
Yo soy vampire.
Just Xianyun is fine.
Y el Traveler es
Thank
Traveler.
you all so much for offering to help. But first, I'm sorry for asking, but, how do you want us to pay you back?
400 protogemas servirán.
Oh, we don't need any payment for this.
Yo sí. Nos ha llamado la atención tu caso, así que ayudaremos como podamos. Pero sí, espero una recompensa de 400 protogemas por esto. No estoy pidiendo demasiado.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. But Miss Xianyun, what exactly can we do to help out this granny? All we have to go off is that dream. Where do we start?
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those places, her memories will likely return.
Como esa película que trataba del Alzheimer, creo.
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember which places you went to when you were young?
Why, of course I do. The heavens above, the earth below, the wispy clouds, and the emerald mountain stream.
En Luye no hay verdes montañas, tampoco manantiales.
Taking that as a no.
Bueno, sí hay manantiales, pero no son verdes o amarillos. Bueno, ¿de qué color?
I might have an idea. Once, when I was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a martial artist heroine who saved loads of people from a disaster. If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history books or something.
Los registros de los que mencionó Ganyu.
A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shinjo knows tons about Liyue's chivalric traditions. If anyone knows about the heroes of the past, it's him. Let's go find him at the Feiyun Commerce Guild.
Esto también puede servir.
Are you leaving already? But I'm still hungry.
Yo no.
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu you especially want, I'll just get a few different things.
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Streetward Rambler.
Streetward Rambler? Oh, you mean Madam Ping!
Precisely. Let us meet at Yujing Terrace once you are ready.
Muy bien, haremos eso en todo caso. Y demos dónde está Xinqiu ahorita. Hablando de Xinqiu, un poco que me llega el hecho de que Xianyun se llame Xianyun porque llevo con este equipo ya 3 años y todavía no está completo. Yo pensaba que Xiao sería el encargado de hacerlo, pero parece que no. Parece que también hay otra opción adicional a Xiao para completar ese equipo que, podéis decirlo desde ya, hace maravillas con el Dendro. De verdad, es que Dendro ha chetado bastante a un montón de equipos y hay un montón de unidades que están chetando equipos un poquito menos beneficiados por la llegada de Dendro. La cosa es que tenemos que ir justamente donde está el Xinqiu, que está justamente en el edificio al costado y oyendo al edificio incorrecto, por lo que parece. ¿Está por acá? Sí, está por acá. Tremendo lagazo que me he metido ahí. Xianyun,
Huh. It's you two. What brings you here?
necesitamos que nos cuentes una historia de terror.
Shincho! Great, we found you! We wanted to ask you about something.
Le explican a Xianyun la situación de Yuandai.
That's not a whole lot of information to go off of. I don't know if I can say for sure.
Cualquier información, por pequeña que sea, será bienvenida.
I can't pinpoint her identity from your description alone. But considering her age, I am reminded of a nameless heroine who's been featured in various chivalric novels.
Nameless heroine?
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from 50 years ago. As the people suffered, a nameless heroine appeared and began to clear away evil spirits and bandit camps. The people idolized her, but never learned her name.
50 años, o sea, nada que ver con lo que ha vivido la guerra esa de 500 años atrás.
All they knew was that she always acted alone. Later, though, she supposedly fell in love with a similarly noble-minded exorcist from Mount Tianheng. They were well matched in more ways than one, often fighting together as a fearsome duo of otherworldly strength. After the drought ended, the heroine and the exorcist left the public eye and began living a reclusive life in the mountains. All that remained were tales of her incredible accomplishments.
Pasaros, y me refiero a la pareja.
The way this nameless heroine faded from fame into obscurity later in life is not too dissimilar from Miss Yuendai. I hope that's somewhat helpful.
Thanks a lot, Shincho. We knew it'd be worth talking to you.
It's nothing at all. Just something I came across while reading. I did do a bit of extra research on her story, but it was just out of personal curiosity.
Well, Paimon still thinks that's super cool. Oh, wait, Shincho, if you've read up on her, do you know of any places often associated with her?
Lo que dijo Paimon, recontra verdad. Xianyun es literal la unidad meta por excelencia.
Let me think. In the novels, the nameless heroine always appeared near one of three places. Wangshu Inn, the area just north of Jueyun Karst, and Qingyun Peak.
Vamos a ir por los tres lugares, ¿verdad? O sea, en el orden en el que no quiero ir.
Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the character was also often seen near those three places. That would explain why those locations appear in the various novels written about her.
Muchísimas gracias por la ayuda y también por ayudar a un montón de equipos que tratan de pasarse el abismo en este preciso instante en el que estoy grabando.
You're welcome. To be honest, I found some parts of the story confusing when I first came across it. If Miss Yuendai was indeed the original inspiration for the character, she may just be able to help me put the pieces together.
Sí, creo que no te va a responder las preguntas que tú quieres que responda.
It's rare for a chivalric hero to fade into obscurity during their lifetime, even after retiring from the public eye. But no one ever saw or heard from the nameless heroine again. There were even rumors that she became extremely ill. I've never understood why someone would go to such lengths to erase themselves from public memory. It's almost as if she was trying to hide from something. There's probably far more to the story than what's been written.
¿Por qué alguien llegaría a tal extremo con tal de ocultar su identidad?
We'll be sure to tell you if we manage to uncover the truth.
That's a deal. Perhaps, behind the truth of it all, there lies a story more fantastical than any work of fiction.
Paimon feels like we just learned so much from Shincho. A drought, a nameless heroine, a life of seclusion. Wait, why does the story sound super familiar? Oh, right! There's a drought in this story too! Shincho, are droughts super common in Liyue or something?
Con el calentamiento global que ahorita hay, obviamente que sí va a ser común en Liyue.
Well, they used to be. But people have long since developed methods to prevent them, like by cultivating the soil or digging canals.
¿Podrías decirme cuáles son esos métodos, por favor, Xianyun? ¿Dónde carajos dejé mis lapiceros?
So while droughts do happen from time to time, they are rarely regarded as true disasters. The drought 50 years ago is probably one of the worst we've had in the last several centuries. The crops withered, the streams ran dry, and the monsters in the mountains became rabid and agitated. Countless caravans were attacked, and people who lost their homes came together to form bandit groups. What started as a natural disaster soon became a human tragedy as well.
Haría un chiste de humor negro en este instante, pero creo que no es el momento para hacerlo.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the nameless heroine was so beloved. She must have been someone of true integrity, to do so much for the people while asking nothing in return. Still, as terrible as that drought was, it was nothing compared to the truly calamitous disasters that befell this land in ancient times. They say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe and more common. Only the strongest of Adepti could hope to dispel the ruin and devastation.
Sí, ahí sí aparece en el cuento.
Do you have any other questions?
We're good for now. We're just going to head back and meet up with Miss Xianyun and the others again.
Bueno, Xianyun, que ya ni se pronunciaba.
Someone hopes that Granny Yuendai will be able to remember more of her past. She used to be a great hero who saved many people. So sad that she can't recall any of it.
Es lo que a veces la edad hace.
Anyway, we'll be off now. See you some other time, Xingqiu. Thank you so much for your help.
Xiao, Xingqiu.
It's no problem at all. Safe travels.
Muy bien, ahora volvamos donde está Madame Ping y la Xianyun también, que estoy seguro que están visitándola, ¿no? Por ahí están y casi me caigo encima de ellas. A ver, voy a ver si es que puedo caer en la cabecera de la mesa tal que... a ver, espérate. ¡Guau! Casi.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Ah, esas cosas suelo recolectar hacia lo random, pero no sé para qué sirven. ¿Es para la Terra?
Oh, thank you.
Porque sé que actúan como discos, ¿no? Y me refiero a discos de música de vinilo, no discos de stand.
Straight word, Ping. What has amused you so?
Ah, de seguro porque es una yo referencia.
Oh, it's no serious matter. I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such change in this world, and yet you appear just the same as ever.
Time has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong. Nevertheless, Ping, one would like to seek your counsel on a personal matter.
Oh, why so formal all of a sudden? I must say, you're making me a little nervous. What is it?
Well, the inquiry is as such. Approximately how much more would one need to afford a comfortable life in the harbor, not unlike the one that you yourself lead?
It does not require as much as you may think. Still, do you mean that...
Cloud Retainer, Madam Ping! What are you two talking about?
Nothing save for some trivial matters. Have you unearthed any useful details?
Xingqiu has a theory, but let's save it for when Chuyu and Miss Yuendai have joined up with us again.
Lo importante es que tenemos información. Hace un rato llegan Yandai y Suyo y Pablo le cuenta toda esta teoría de Xingqiu.
Do not be troubled, young lady. Here, have some tea.
Y empieza la pelea para ver quién se queda con la niña como discípula.
Thank you so much.
I wonder quién va a ganar.
What do you think, Chuyu? Does it match up with what you know of your granny? According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually fell in love with an exorcist from Mount Tianheng. Maybe that's my grandpa. I don't have many memories of him, but there was this one time I found a box in her attic full of a bunch of weird sigils.
Valdría la pena ir a los sitios que se mencionan en los libros.
I think so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous tea. I can taste the dew's sweetness in this cup. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the mountains, thoroughly one with nature and at peace.
No lleva al caso, pero hace poco se me ocurrió la idea de agarrar té, echarle hielo y limón. Una experiencia de otro mundo.
Is that so? Then please drink as much as you like. There's no need to hurry. At our age, it's always nice to slow down and take the time to appreciate pleasant conversation among friends.
Thank you.
Nos vamos después de que descansen un rato.
Okay, since we have the time, can I ask you something?
Claro, no hay problema.
Sure thing. What would you like to know? I have a secret I want to tell you. Let's go talk over there.
Escucha el secreto que quiere contarte Xianyun. Empieza la parte donde le dan más gloria al NPC que al personaje jugable.
What's wrong, Xianyun? Well, I've been kind of meaning to ask ever since we started talking in the restaurant, but are you guys all adepti in disguise?
Yo no, la tipa al costado sí lo es.
Oh, about that.
¿Pero por qué lo preguntas?
Well, you guys just seem super special. Plus, I think I might have heard Miss Xianyun call herself an adeptus.
Vale, esta tipa sí se ve yo soy Sir Adventure.
Must have been a slip of the tongue. Xianyun, since you were the one who, misspoke, maybe you can explain to Xianyun here what you really meant by that.
O un montón de animes en general, porque vamos, ahí es recontra sencillo encontrar dónde está el protagonista, porque siempre lo hacen con un diseño recontra reconocible y recontra distinto al resto de personajes. Hasta los otros personajes tienen mejores diseños que los NPCs.
One is indeed an adeptus. Is that of some concern to you?
I knew it.
Tampoco es que pareces muy sorprendida.
Well, one time when I was a little kid, I saw a pure white illuminated crane. I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. I was feeling all icky and gross. But then this snowy white crane flew down from the sky.
¿Dónde siento que escuché eso antes?
She put me on her back and flew me to her cool adeptus house and fed me some sort of magic potion. When I woke up, I was already back in my bed and my fever was gone. I really wanted to thank her, but I was too sleepy to stay awake, so I never got the chance. So, I just kind of wanted to ask if maybe any of you have ever met an adeptus like that?
Amiga, le estás hablando a la misma Adeptus al frente tuyo.
A pure white illuminated crane? The only two we've ever met are blue and white and black and brown.
Azul y blanco, negro y marrón. ¿Te estás refiriendo a los idiotas esos de Fontaine?
Have you ever met one that's pure white, Cloud Retainer?
Never has one met an adeptus with such features. One surmises such a description is but a hyperbolic embellishment that oft results from narrative accounts.
That's weird. Was it really just a dream then? Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't matter that much anyway. All I really want is to help Granny recover her memories. Leave it to us! Now that we know the 3 locations, we just need to visit them one by
Sí,
one.
de paso ver si es que me permiten desbloquear la nueva zona.
Let's go to Wangshu Inn first! Okay, I'll go get Granny.
Muy bien, vayamos primero a la posada de Xianyun, no sin antes recoger estas cosas de acá, que sé que me van a seguir más adelante en el futuro, o tal vez no. Bueno, de hecho las flores deseas más que otra cosa, en caso de que me permitan construir cosas más para la vieja tierra que la tengo recontra abandonada, pero eso no es importante, lo importante es ir justamente aquí.
Wangshu Inn. Wangshu Inn.
Do you remember this place, Granny?
Yes. The fish here is very delicious, and if you look out into the distance, you can always spot a bird that's been left behind by its flock.
Recién me doy cuenta que hay como un hueco en una de las montañas. O parece.
I used to have a room here. It had a window. Yes, I spent a lot of time looking out that window. Which room was it again? Let me look.
I'll come with. Hyman's still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but If she's so familiar with this place, that must mean she lived here, right?
Por lo menos
Wait.
por un tiempo.
Shoo!
¡Chu!
What are you doing here all of a sudden? You scared the living daylights out of Paimon!
¿Cómo está el emo más emo de todo lo emo?
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come take a look.
¿A qué te refieres?
If you're here, then there's likely no trouble afoot. I suppose there's no cause for concern.
Xiao, ya hemos hablado de esto. No soy una amenaza para tu existencia. Tú eres una amenaza para tu propia existencia.
It's been a while, Cloud Retainer. I see you have returned to your previous form.
Así que ya la has visto con esta apariencia.
I have indeed. I fought alongside her in this form on many occasions during the Archon War.
Supongo que para ocultarse y camuflarse entre las líneas enemigas, porque claro, así no sabrían que están tratando con dioses, sino con simples humanos. Aunque claro, teniendo en cuenta de qué tanto se estén dando cuenta el resto de personas, no habrá sido muy difícil, asumo, para tratar de infiltrarse con los altos mandos mayores, que de seguro tendrán una mejor comprensión de cualquiera sea el tipo de energía que ustedes usen.
Oh, wow! What was she like during the war? Oh, wait, let Paimon take a guess. Was it anything like this?
Behold, the glory of one's newest invention, the Bang Bang Continuous Fire Mechanism. Hands up and surrender, or be prepared to face the full might of the Adepti.
An impressive imitation.
Ta madre.
Paimon knows her all too well.
Mi humor está tan roto que eso me causó gracia.
Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe. You may be unaware, but her talent with Adepti sigils is just as formidable as her skill in mechanics.
Aguanta, entonces eso es lo que usa para volver meta a los no meta.
The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating battles was taciturn and solemn, only speaking when she had to activate her sigils.
Culminó con la muerte de Guizhong. O sea, ¿te refieres a la guerra en general? ¿O solamente a lo que es la sección Liyue contra Celestia de la guerra? O sea, ahí es donde Liyue se separó de la guerra totalmente.
Cloud Retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't picture it. But what happened after that? If you were so powerful in your human form, why did you decide to take up your bird form again?
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what use would one still have for such a shape? When dwelling between mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world, a mortal form is hardly the most fitting of choices.
After the war, Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong, only revealing herself to the occasional visitor, and always in her avian form. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years ago, when she decided to don her human form. I believe it was for the purpose of...
One believes there is little need to relive bygone matters.
Granny, are you okay?
Ahí sí no quieres que hablen de ti, ¿no, Xianyun?
Back then, at this place,
Perhaps this conversation should end here. I shall take my leave now.
No, Xiao, y ojalá tu arma o tú me aparezcan en el banner o me salgan en algún punto de la existencia. Aunque, es más, yo tengo la estrategia, esta vez. Fontaine existe por algo, y voy a aprovechar las propiedades de sus aguas para que por fin tú, conchetumare, tú me salgas.
Should you encounter any trouble, you need only call my name. However, given that you are traveling with Cloud Retainer, I trust you are in good hands.
Aunque no sé qué tan buena idea será eso, porque este huevón solamente trabaja en Liyue. Anywho.
Everyone, I think Granny is finally beginning to remember her past.
¡Qué bien!
Slowly now, calm your mind and...
A long time ago, I stayed here to recuperate from my illness.
Huh. So what Shinjo said was true! You did fall ill! Was that why you went into hiding?
I don't remember. I'm very sorry, but I can't even remember the name of my illness. The only thing I can remember is that it took a great toll on me, and there was no cure for it.
Capaz se haya enfermado con chakra maligno, chakra negro, de seguro.
I was
Es exorcista al fin y al
confined to my
cabo, así
room
que
in
tiene sentido de que esté
Wangshu Inn,
enferma de esa
where
manera.
I spent many days unconscious. I'd come to every once in a while and stare at the migrating birds outside the window. It was a solemn sight. I remember crying, but I'm not even sure I knew why.
Depresión. Definitivamente se habrá contaminado con chakra malo.
One day, I met a traveling merchant. Upon hearing of my illness, he sold me a bottle of soul-revitalizing tea pills. He told me that the pills were concocted using adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms. Sure enough, I made a full recovery. My illness remained dormant for several decades after that.
A Eder no lo había pensado de esa manera. Entonces su amnesia en realidad es...
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, are you saying that what you're going through now is just a relapse of what happened all those years ago? And it was all thanks to the pills that you managed to keep the symptoms in check? Paimon's brain kinda hurts. Do you remember anything else?
I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, if only I wasn't so useless.
Ok, mi cerebro ahorita está haciendo malabares.
Hey, you're not useless. You've done so much for me.
Oh, fret not, dear child. Granny was just a bit frustrated. That's all.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process. Finding pieces of one's past is always superior to not finding anything at all. Let us make haste to the next location.
Next location. Next location. Oh, why don't we go to the area north of Dwayun Karst next? There isn't really a landmark there, so where should we start? Oh, Paimon's got it. Let's check out the houses in the area first. After all, if she was there for any length of time, then she would have stayed somewhere, right? Oh, Paimon's really got her thinking cap on today. At this rate, we'll recover all of Granny Wendai's memories in no time.
Ok, en antes dijeron de que lo que estaba sufriendo Yunjai, creo que así se llama Yundai como sea, era algo que le hacía perder un poquito la memoria. Lo primero que pensé luego lo que dijo Eder es probablemente esté sufriendo de Alzheimer. Pero claro, no está mostrando ninguna evidencia de que está... Ay, Virgen Santísima, son 3 lugares los que tengo que ir. Y este punto de transporte no lo tengo desactivado. ¡Ah! Vale, creo que hay enemigos por ahí. O tal vez no los haya, o solamente sea una casita abandonada. Probablemente sea lo último. Recojamos estas vallas. Y sí, parece ser un lugar abandonado. Creo que esto también tiene un poco que ver con la historia de Shenhe, o me parece. O es que estoy confundiendo las cosas otra vez. Porque, un aeroso, ¿esto tenía que ver con el primer intermedio? ¿O esto tenía que ver con lo de... No, espera. Lo de Yelan está un poquito más cercano a lo que es el tema este de las comunas de Lille. Creo que por acá estaba todo lo que tenía que suceder durante la misión esa. Así que... debe ser por acá. Ya se hizo de día. De día. Tal vez esta sea la zona.
Paimon sees an abandoned house. Why don't we take a break over there?
This place... it's...
La tenía la segunda, ¿verdad?
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. Shuyu. This is where your father was born. It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot pursuit. I had exhausted my strength when the labor pains came on, so we took refuge in this house. Your grandpa set up a barrier outside, but neither of us knew if it could hold the monsters back. I remember that night. I remember falling to my knees, reciting a prayer over and over. I alone am the source of this sin. Punish me as you wish for forsaking my oath, but spare my innocent child.
Tampoco es que haya vivido, pero ha logrado vivir. Tenía que decirlo.
Sin? Oath? Did you do something wrong?
I don't know. I don't remember. I only remember praying in the darkness with all my strength until the sun finally rose again and the fog cleared out. Eventually, the house was filled with the sound of my baby's first cries. That baby was your father. I remember I clutched him tight to my chest and wept tears of joy. It was the first time I'd ever felt such happiness in my life.
Vaya manera más épica de nacer.
My dad?
He was my pride and joy, and so are you, Shuyu. You're so much like him, and I love you both so much. But you're always going to be different from me. Why? Just what did I do?
I don't care what you might have done, Granny. You'll always be the person I love more than anything.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. I'm lucky to have you with me. If not for you, I would not have had the courage to come here, to try to remember what I had forgotten. All right. Let's not stand around any longer. There's one place left, yes?
Correcto.
Let's go take a look.
If one recalls correctly, the next place should be Xianyun Peak. Yuandai, how fares your health?
I may be a bit slow, but I'll do my best to keep up. I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting.
Climb on. I shall carry you to the top. Oh, such lightness of weight.
All those who grow old grow frail in the end, do they not? First, you lose your memory, then your health. Eventually, you end up losing everything.
Qué sad.
My only wish is to depart this world with a lucid mind, to free myself of this torment and the burden it places upon others.
Fret not. You have my aid in this endeavor.
Fue difícil escuchar todo eso, teniendo en cuenta todo lo que viví, pero lo importante es que tenemos que ir por acá. Y supongo que después nos mandarán por allá, ¿no? Bueno, eso es lo que asumo.